Philadelphia, are you ready?
They said, are you ready?
This is Brotherly Love Wrestling Podcast, your first stop for everything professional wrestling. So sit back and enjoy wrestling talk at its finest with your hosts, Larry Hall and Joe Corrado.
Welcome everybody to Brotherly Love Wrestling on Twitch. And there's so much to get into. We can start right off the bat. And one of the biggest stories is to my partner's biggest delight and marking out probably more than I've ever seen him mark out.
No. I don't want to start with that yet. No, because I think I was hoping I was going to let you flow it, but you didn't flow it right. So let me. I think we go Wargames because I think AEW will lead into the next topic, and I think flowing better. So we talk war. I mean, everything that we're talking about is positivity. There's like no negatives of anything that we're talking about today. Because if we're going to start with Wargames, top to bottom, front to back, start to finish, that whole fucking pay-per-view was amazing.
What was?
Personally, probably one of my favorite NXT takeovers, period. And that's without any fans.
That's saying a lot too.
Yeah, but I think that all the matches were good enough to not need a live crowd there. Like I think everything had. I mean, it helps that two of the matches. I mean, it's like there's enough action going on in the ring that you're just like, okay, I don't really notice the fans because there's so much going on. And then the other matches, I mean, the Gargano, Leon Ruff, and Priest match. That had a lot of action and there was interference. So it kind of everything that they did masked that there was no live audience. Like there was enough going on. The strap match, there was a lot going on in that match. I mean, it's just that's why I feel like it was perfect or damn near perfect because I know nothing is perfect, but I feel like that whole pay-per-view, the flow was great. The timing was great. The matches held interest throughout the whole thing. I mean, I really don't think there was a down part of the whole pay-per-view. They have the perfect recipe, 5 matches, like roughly half hour on average each match. You get it over 2.5 hours, and that's it. And you're always like, you want more, but you're still worn out by the end of it, if that makes sense.
No, and that's the exact thing. That's what I was going to say is that you do want more, but you're so drained from that 2.5 hours of nonstop being impressed nonstop for 2.5 hours of how good this whole show is, that it kind of makes you wonder why Monday Night Raw can't be great when they can produce 2.5 hours of TV like this of just you. And not only that, there was storytelling. There was in each match, there was a story continued or a new story. Everything was told right in every single match.
Yeah, but that pay-per-view was not the PG format that the main roster abides by, and the rule of thumb is to keep it entertaining for not us 30-year-olds, but keep it entertaining for more of the kids. Mm-hmm. And NXT's for us. NXT's that gift that we're given from the demos of whatever the frig the weird demo is. Like I'd say 20 to 35. There's your demo. That's the NXT demo.
Yeah, I agree with
Other
that.
people are going to like it, obviously, but I'm saying that's the key demographic right there. I think that it's fair.
No, it sounds about right, but I
mean, you say that, but we don't know a fucking thing of what we're talking about.
We don't. No. That's what I said. It sounds right, but who knows what it is?
It sounds good, but I have no idea if it is right.
But I mean, the spots that you got out of that too, you didn't just get great wrestling. You got those ooh and ah spots, like Io Shirai on top of the cage with the fucking trash can over her head and diving off into the women. All the table spots you got from Undisputed Era and Pat McAfee's team, like you got the big spots, but you got, again, Kyle O'Reilly and Dunn starting the match off. And you got that technical bruiser style in the beginning of that and throughout as well. But that especially, like everything was just spot on. And again, we say it every single takeover. NXT just kills it every single time.
They really do. And I know that spot that you're talking about where she puts the trash can over her head and jumps. Like, I know that there's people probably out there that are like, well, I know they wait for people to jump on them, but God, would you really wait for someone to jump on you that had a trash can over their head? And the answer is probably, yeah, that looks like fun. Yeah, sure, jump on me with a trash can. I'll wait for that. I'm not going to wait for you to jump on me normally, but with a trash can, sure, I'll jump away. We'll catch you with some metal. It was. I mean, it was different too. The War Games matches, they were two completely different feels to them.
Yes.
I mean, the women kind of put on like the spectacle, the show of like a lot of big spots and they were doing a lot. I don't think it told as good of a story as the men's War Games. I think that throughout the whole thing was just great storytelling, and there was a lot of really good regular wrestling in there as well. Like, you didn't just get a bunch of spots. You got a lot of, like, it was kind of like a slow pace, and it kind of followed the old school format of the War Games match. It was nice to see.
Yeah, and I think, and that had to be the hard part when you're putting a match together for the men is, all right, so the women are doing this. We have to go out there and do this. And you don't want to have to repeat certain spots or do spots that are alike, because then obviously the audience has already seen it, even though it was the first match. With psychology in ring, there are things that you don't do traditionally, period, with wrestling, where you don't want to do certain spots. You don't want to do certain things that, especially that other War Games match did. So I think they did a good job as that, as well as both of them very unique, not just because they were men and women, but just psychology and storytelling alone.
What the only thing, and we discussed this as we were watching it, the only thing that I didn't like was that when you bring the weapons in, you throw the weapons down. Like, when you bring your weapons in the ring, someone, even if you're not the one, if you throw them down, someone should be going for that weapon, because that is your equalizer. That is, you brought that in there for a reason. You see someone throw something in there, well, if you're not going to use it, I'm going to use it on you. Like, and the men did that. Like, they brought in the weapons and someone went for it. And I like that. But the women kind of just, they threw them in there and it's just like, okay, these are just here for later. Like, you got to, like, show a little urgency. Like, shit, someone's going to throw a pipe wrench down. Well, I'm going to get to it before they do so I can beat them with it and they don't hurt me with it. Like, it's like, it's nitpicking, definitely, 100%. I will say it's nitpicking. But it's something that I noticed, that, like, come on, like, you're going to bring that in there and you're going to tell me nobody's going to fucking touch it for 5 to 10 minutes? And you all know it's there. You all know that weapon's there. Like, come on.
Well, yeah, and you're talking about the Dakota combined with the toolbox.
That's my only bugaboo.
Yeah. Yeah, and then Bobby Fish completely turned it around that next match. They threw a chair in there. Bobby Fish reaches down immediately to go get it, and they stomp on his hand. Well, at least he tried. At least it looked like that's what someone would do.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just those little things that, it's not a big deal, but it's little things that you pick up on that are like, yeah, well, I don't know if that makes any sense. I mean, you're wrestling inside of a cage, so how much sense is it supposed to make to begin with? But you would think in a match where you're trapped and someone's bringing something in that, oh shit, I want to get to that before they do, because we're stuck in here, so we got to beat them to death.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, everything in that whole pay-per-view was just good. It was just fun, entertaining, and there wasn't any, like, here's the thing, that why you say that, how come Raw and SmackDown can't do it? Because it's full of bullshit. It's full of filler. It's full of commercials by the shitload, and a lot of filler, a lot of segments. These are video package, match, video package, match. That's all I care about when I see something, video package, match. For a pay-per-view, I mean, TV's different. I mean, you got to kind of appease to a larger viewership, and you got to try and bring in a variety of people. Like, this is just one thing. We have the recipe, and this is what we do. This is how we follow it, and everything is good. Now, they could do that, but I think viewership would actually be hurt.
I mean, I get why they can't do that on TV. The quality that NXT continuously puts out, not just TakeOver, but even NXT TV, it's so much better segment wise. talking in the back, a promo in the ring, everything. And it really makes you wonder, like, I get it. You have to appeal, but you can't tell me what they're doing on NXT, regardless, whether you want to talk about the scared Cameron Grimes and the screen guys that are following around Gargano, now one being Austin Theory. I mean, there's some corny things and little things that kids can really get into still, but it bothers me to no end, especially how good SmackDown is as well, that Raw just can't do it. It can't put it together.
Look, man, we've talked about this at nauseum levels of what Raw could do or what we would do. The thing is that we're never going to get our way. We're going to watch it, and it's going to be the same thing. It's going to continue to go down the same path. And, I mean, it is what it is at this point. There's just so much other stuff that you can watch that Raw just becomes a back burner or background noise.
Yeah.
It's as much as Vince wants to say, it's always, and Stephanie and all those fucking dickhead fucking commands, they want to say, oh, it's the A show. Raw hasn't been the A show, and I couldn't since fucking Punk left. Like, it hasn't been the A show in how long? Like, it's been like 6 years.
It's been a while.
It hasn't been that good. And I'm not saying that SmackDown's been overly great, but at least it has flashes. It's like a flash in the pan where it'll be good for like 3 or 4 months, 5 months, maybe half the year if we're lucky. But Raw is just constantly bad. It's just so long. They don't know what to do with the 3 hours. They don't know how to fill it. Like, if you would just fill Raw with, I don't know, with some stars that you want to build up and people that you want to get some interest behind. But then you have like people like The Fiend and Orton. They can take care of a half hour's worth of time, almost each show. Maybe not together, but at least separately they could. I mean, you have McIntyre, you have the champion. I mean, there's 20, 25 minutes worth of time. Like, have him involved in some shit that isn't just in the ring. Like, there's people to build around. I mean, what they got going on with him and Sheamus, like, that's going to be pretty good.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's just, they have good points. It's just that it's so long that you are left with nothing but looking at the negatives, because the negatives always outweigh the positives, because they can't keep they can't keep it together for 3 hours. Mm-hmm. It's like the hold it together, and it just fails.
So, all right, let's go to Winter is Coming, which probably is your least favorite title for a wrestling show, but
it's no longer coming. It's past. Winter is past.
Yeah. Winter is here, and
no, it's past. It's not coming. It already happened. It's in the past tense now.
I kind of wish we were together for Wednesday night, because I would have loved to see you mark out when the lights went off and that package went on.
My reaction was I froze. Like I froze. I was like, and I got goosebumps. Like, that was my reaction. I was like, whoa. Like, and I kind of sat there because, I mean, I'm not fucking 10 years old anymore. I kind of just sat there and I locked in. Mm-hmm. Like, I wanted to, instead of like jumping around like I would have as a kid, but I just sat there kind of just fucking like, I wanted to see what he was there for. I wanted to see how he was presented. I was definitely amazed, and it was awesome. It was, without a doubt in my mind, it was incredible. It was the best thing that happened in wrestling this week by far. I don't care what anyone else says. Sting coming back to the ring. I don't care if you don't like Sting. Fuck you. He came back. Wrestling is great again. Wrestling is complete.
Would you be saying this if it was literally any other nostalgic wrestler?
No.
It's only because of Sting.
Yes. Look, I will be the first to say that I will play favorites on this, and Sting is my all-time favorite wrestler. So getting to see him come back, I don't care what capacity he's there. I don't care if he's going to manage someone. I don't care if he's going to do cinematic matches. I don't care if he's going to have a couple matches to lead to his retirement. Whatever it is, I'm happy that he's there. And AEW, as critical as I have been of them, I now get to take a step back, and I get to ease up, and I'm just like, all right, they delivered for me. Like, this delivers. Like, I might not agree with 50% of what they do on their show, but I know what I'm there to see now. I know who I'm there to see, and that's all I care about. Like I'm there to be entertained by Orange Cassidy, MJF, Sting now, and a couple others like their tag team division. But everything else, like, all right, I'll watch it, but I know what I'm there for now. Like I know what, and that's kind of like what I feel like they were going for. Like, okay, you know who we have now, so we're gonna tease it. We're gonna wait till the end. We're gonna force you to watch everything. Like they have no giveaway stuff.
Well,
Like
yeah, and that's you have Sting speaking this week, and do you even have 1 inch of a thought that they would ever start Dynamite with it?
Oh, absolutely.
You think they'll start it? They won't hold off?
I don't think they will, but I wouldn't put it past them.
Yeah.
It depends on what the rest of the show looks like. I mean, if they have stuff lined up but I can honestly see it depends on what he's there for or who's going to interrupt or what's going to happen. Like if it's going to set something up that's pretty big, then yeah, I probably would wait for the end for that because this is his first time in since 2015, I think it was.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
So 5 years, and I mean he's 5 years older, so that's 5 more years on the already old body of Sting, the beaten down, the freaking torn up, broken down neck and back and all that shit. So I'm not expecting them to go out and put on a fucking 6-star Tokyo Dome match. I'm not expecting it. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, he could still go for fucking 35 and he could do everything. He's just like Taker. You're going to go out, you're going to get a Stinger Splash, a Scorpion Death Drop, and a Scorpion Deathlock. That's pretty much what you're going to get. He's not going to fucking put more wear and tear on his body. And you might not even get that in a ring. You might get that at the Hardy compound or something. Like, and I saw this, I won't take credit for it, but if he wrestles at the Hardy compound and goes into the Lake of Reincarnation and comes back as Surfer Sting, I'm done for. Like, AEW wins. AEW wins. Like, I can't, like, I will not, I'll bow down for that one. That's it. Like, they got me. I'm in. I'm all in, baby.
Do you know the shit I would hear if Shawn Michaels did this and I was talking like this about Shawn Michaels? The shit that you would talk about me being that big of a mark.
Here's the thing. I'm a better shit talker than you, and we already know this. That's why I do it.
But I also don't want to burst your mark-ass balloon either. If you're enjoying it, I'm not going to bust your balls about it.
Dude, look what I'm wearing. Does it look like I care what you're saying about me? I'm wearing fucking the greatest match of all time shirt. Come on now. Does it look like I shave my armpits? Makes me more aerodynamic when I fight.
Right,
Listen, I'm so fucking relaxed right now. You couldn't fucking rile me up if you tried.
Okay, good. So the last thing we'll say about the Sting thing going forward is
you're going to try.
Coming Wednesday, if the announcement is that Sting will now mentor Darby Allin and be in his corner for the rest of the time and basically giving this kid the rub that he is going to be the future star and he's getting the rub from Sting, do you, not Sting, do you now accept Darby Allin? Will you give Darby Allin a chance?
I will say this.
Do not like him.
I will say this. I will give it a chance and I will tolerate what they have going on. But if I think it drags down Sting more than elevates Darby, then I will not like it. But I will still watch it because it's Sting.
Because yes, yeah, I get that. I
so
knew that. And
if Michaels was mentoring someone that, if for some reason Michaels decided he wanted to mentor Alberto Del Rio, would that make you an Alberto Del Rio fan, or would just be like, okay, I still can't really respect this dude, but Shawn Michaels is there, so I'm going to kind of watch what he's doing and not so much who he's mentoring.
Yeah,
right?
I agree. No, I agree. I agree with what you're saying. Yes, I get that.
So
yeah.
I'm not there for Darby Allin. I'm just not. I'm there for Sting. And if Sting's on the screen and he's mentoring Darby Allin, well, good. I hope. Look, they're not the same. They're not. They might be more of the same now because Sting's kind of like, who knows what his mindset is, but they're not the same. Like the way that they got in and the way that everything happened, Darby Allin started this way. Sting didn't start this way. Sting didn't start as the Crow. He didn't start as the dark person. He had to form into that over time and over circumstances. Darby Allin already came in like this, so the comparison kind of stops there. I don't think there is one, but if he's going to be in his corner and kind of mentor him, and we'll see how it goes. I mean,
yeah, that could not completely not happen, but that's the impression. And from Darby sitting up in the stands a couple weeks ago or a month ago at this point.
Here, I hope he kind of hits Cody with the bat.
Would you rather see him? Well, see, I'm not even going to say a feud because I don't believe he's going to be taking that many bumps, according to all the reports in his body.
I don't think wouldn't rather see him in a feud. I would rather see him like come in and have like a different impact, like cost someone a title or maybe interfere and kind of do like stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like I told you, I want Cody to be having a big match and Sting come out and hit him with a bat. That's what I want to see. Cody be going for the title and Sting come out and fucking hit him with the bat and he loses. And he can't challenge again for another 2 years.
I did see, I don't know if it was a fan-made poster or what, but it was a picture, a half and half face, Sting on one side and Jericho on the other. That immediately intrigued me. Immediately, I was like, ooh, man. But
is that a first time ever? Or did he wrestle him in WCW? He might have wrestled him in WCW.
I would assume he did. I can't say for sure, but it would be cool if it was the first time ever.
I don't think it is, but for the point in their career and what they've done now is probably better than back then, just for, I mean, nostalgia reasons primarily, but I think they'd be able to build a pretty good storyline between them two.
Yeah, it'd be the match payoff to where I don't know how they would run it and how many bumps Sting would actually take in that match.
I don't think Jericho's taking that many bumps either. I think but he would take more than Sting. He could more than Sting, absolutely. But again, you're not seeing a 5-star match. You're going to see more of a build-up, and then when they get to the ring, it's going to probably be kind of like, oh, okay. Well, the build-up was good.
Yeah, and that's all that we could ask for, honestly, is this Chris Jericho, the champion, versus the icon Sting.
Well, no, the post was the Painmaker Jericho with the face paint.
Yeah.
Well, there's also a poster put out of Hardy and Sting. So
that'd be pretty cool. That's another one.
I think Hardy's more realistic because Hardy's kind of done taking crazy bumps too, and the Hardy compound's money. Anything cinematic that Hardy's going to do is money, and I think having them two together, it would just be perfect. Like he's not going to get in the ring with someone who's fucking 40 years younger than him.
No.
That doesn't make sense.
No, not at all. Yeah, I couldn't agree more about that.
I mean, that doesn't help anybody because he can't move. You saw what happened with Rollins, and that was pretty much it. Rollins is fucking like probably 35 years younger than him. Maybe not 35, maybe 25. But still, that's significant.
Yeah, yeah. I can't wait though. I honestly can't wait for Dynamite. And like you said, I called you afterwards because I wanted to hear it in your voice. I wanted to hear how excited you actually were. And then you said, "Well, I'm watching Dynamite. Like from now on, that's what my go-to is." And honestly, I can't disagree. I'm gonna do the same thing because it's Sting, and DVR NXT and watch it because I agree. Sting brought me in as well.
Well, and I know the comparisons, and I know what people will say is, well, if WWE brings someone, but it just depends on who. They already did. Well, they do it all the time.
They did it with Sting, and no one had a problem with it. No one said we don't want to see a 56-year-old Sting. No one said that. They already did it, and no one said it. So that bullshit of, if WWE did it, they fucking did it already.
They do it all the time.
5 years ago.
Taker, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
Taker comes back every fucking year.
Stop being so fucking negative. I just enjoy what is in front of you.
Well, here's their argument. It's not that they're there. It's that they're there and put in the title picture, which I don't think Sting is going to be in. I don't see Sting challenging for the main title. No. The biggest comparison that I saw was between Sting and Goldberg. I wish I could slap every person that made that comparison. Just in general, just slap them because they are not the same. They are not the same. Come on now, people.
No.
But I don't think the biggest gripe is that Goldberg came in and of all people, he beat a character that you were trying to build up, and you squashed him at that point. That was the end of his run. That was the huge blow to his mystique. And his character work was losing to a fucking person who couldn't even get him up for his finish. He suplexed him.
Yeah.
He beat him with a fucking suplex. Couldn't even get him up. That's where the comparison starts, but that's where it ends. Because Sting isn't in here to I don't believe, to challenge for the main title right away at a freaking Saudi Arabia show of all fucking places. Like, AEW doesn't have to worry about that. They don't have to worry about, for now, they don't have to worry about overseas money manipulating what they do and how they run their show and where they throw their money. I mean, they're bringing in the right people. Like, this is the biggest name that they brought in for, we'll say, a part-timer or a manager or kind of like an act. Like, you had Arn Anderson, you got Tully, you got Jake the Snake. Good names, strong, solid.
Yeah.
Sting's bigger.
Yeah.
He's got an edge over all of them, probably combined.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
So
absolutely.
You bring in Sting, and now that they knew what they were doing, like, that's a big name. That's going to draw more eyes, because now you get people that, like, I'll use my dad as a for instance. My dad would probably, he won't watch it because he doesn't know how to work DVR. He'll fall asleep. But now I will guarantee that every week he will be tuning in Wednesday, just like he did when Sting was in TNA, just like he was with Raw when he came back, when he came into WWE. He was hooked. He was locked in. He couldn't wait to see him. So you get people like that were maybe kind of on the fence, a little older, but they remember him. And they know that they're not going to get they're not going to get 1999 Sting or even 2004 Sting or 2005 Sting. You're going to get what you're going to get, but they're still interested. You're going to bring in those viewers. So over the demo. So now they're going to widen their demo range with just one person.
Yeah, and I think with it playing into that and the excitement is Sting is the WWE thing was cut short because of that injury. And I think that's the other thing. You're getting WWE fans who were so psyched for a Sting run in WWE cut short and taken away from them, to where now you go, all right, cool. Now I get to see what I wanted to see back in WWE, only now more freedom for Sting and actually him being on TV as the character like he wanted to be in WWE. And they didn't want that, or Vince didn't see money in that.
So what this opens the door for is to bring in more people too, to bring in
Yes.
other big names that could kind of, I mean, as long as they don't turn it into TNA, like
yeah,
where they're just overshadowed and are overpopulated with all these older guys who aren't even really wrestling. They're just there to bring in the eyes. Like, they still have to stick with what they were supposed to do and be the wrestling company. But I mean, look, you can make comparisons because they're both wrestling companies. It's what they do with these people. Like, WWE put together a format that worked for so long, but what they've been doing isn't always working now. So if you could tweak it and AEW is able to use that format and kind of work it itself in their own format, then who knows? Like, maybe you are going to see 1 million, 1.5 viewers another day on TV. Who knows?
yeah.
They need if they're going to bring in these names, they need more time. They need another day. And maybe this is going to be a segue of a lifetime.
Maybe to announce it.
Maybe I have to, because they have to know how good it is. They won't be able to catch on to it by themselves. I have to let them know that it's so
They'll
good.
never be able to tell.
Maybe their day becomes Tuesday, and maybe this quote unquote one-off that they're working with Impact is just to test the waters, to see what the buzz is going to generate before, during, and after. Like, it has to, AEW is the bigger company. It has to make sense for them in the long run. They have to be able to make money off of this. It has to benefit them. So with Kenny Omega beating John Moxley, which we all thought was going to happen.
And hoped.
And hoped, because it was probably about time for a change. But we did not expect this change right away, where Don Callis is going to come in and help Omega and then bring him out of the arena and then get him on Impact TV tonight in less than 20 minutes.
15 minutes.
Probably not the beginning. You would think probably towards the end, so you watch all the way through if you're going to play it smart. Mm-hmm. Or do you get them to watch? No, because you got to make them wait to the end. That's the way I play.
Or 9 o'clock hour, right on that edge.
Yeah, but then you don't want viewership to dwindle after that.
True.
That's always my biggest play, and I could be wrong. I don't run a TV company, so fuck it. What do I know? But anyway, maybe this is their way to kind of look. If they partner with Impact, or they absorb Impact, or they kind of become one company together, that benefits AEW. I think that gives them that other night. I think it hurts the talent a little bit because I don't think there's enough room for both.
No,
I don't think
definitely not.
I think the roster becomes too big at that point. Yeah. But what you do have is that you have AEW Dark now on Tuesday that would run right into Impact / AEW Impact, TNAEW, as I like to call it. So that gives you your third hour. That gives you your, okay, so here are my pre-show matches. Here's my cruiserweight division in the old WCW day. And then you get the 2-hour show, hopefully on a network better than Access TV. Nothing against Access, but not everyone has that. You need to be on national TV. You need to be accessible by many, by millions. So to run the YouTube show, and then you have to switch right over, at least it leads into it. So you're just watching 3 hours, and the flow would probably be good to start.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
So you go three hours, and then, I mean, Dynamite might take a hit, but I don't think they do. I think they have enough people at that point to run a 3 hour and then run a 2 hour with the big timers.
I think also, I think there's a lot of rumors immediately came out when all this happened. And it was mainly the rumor that spread the most, and was the most picked up, was Kenny Omega is there to just do a one-off and find a way and make this happen between the Bucks and the Good Brothers. And that is the ultimate payoff for Kenny Omega showing up on Impact tonight. Yeah, okay, I guess. But I kind of don't buy the world champion of AEW going for a one-off with Don Callis and setting up the Bucks versus Good Brothers. I don't buy it. I think rumors are rumors for a reason.
Yeah, but I think it's a good starting point. I think that's a good matchup because look, it's Bullet Club. Bullet Club's marketable. There's a lot of history. There's a lot of vignettes you can run. There's a lot of stuff there. I think that's a good starting point to get the ball rolling in the right direction that you want it. Because you could do champion versus champion. You could do Omega versus Rich Swann, or you could do FTR versus the North. But I think the history and what they would be able to do with Bucks and Gallows and Anderson, I think that's a great starting point. I think that's your best story between the two companies that you could tell, actually.
To tell you,
and I'm not saying I'm against it. I like the idea, but I just think that there's I don't know. They're either an ulterior motive or something bigger for Kenny Omega as the champion.
Well, here's the thing. You say that as the payoff. I say it as the payoff for now. I say it as the starting point.
Yeah,
look,
I get that.
If this creates enough buzz, they'd be stupid. They'd be moronic not to roll with it afterwards. It would be stupid.
Yeah.
So I think that this is a good starting point. If this is the payoff if this is the first payoff, then I'm good with that. I think it'll be good. I think I don't know where they run where the match happens. Does it happen at the next pay-per-view? Because that would be pretty cool. And you have other people from Impact interfere and kind of let it roll from there. Like, look, you leak a little bit just to give the all the reporters and all that shit just a taste. You just give them what you want them to hear, but you keep the rest to yourself, because you tell everyone everything, they're not going to watch. Like, I already know what's going to happen. Well, they'll watch, but
Yeah,
it takes the mystery out of it. And wrestling is built on suspense and not knowing everything. I mean, kayfabe. For the love of God, kayfabe was in existence for how long? Like, they're still trying to hold on to bits and pieces of that. So you give them a little bit and you keep the rest. So I have high hopes, to say the least, for what is going on there. Bill, you were going to say something. What were you going to say?
So one of the prevailing thoughts that I've seen circulating around is that TNA used to be a location for certain wrestlers from a certain company to come over and cut their teeth in the business, known as NJPW. And when Shinsuke and Okada came to TNA, and then on top of that, you've got Kenta calling out Moxley and asking Renee on Twitter, how long do I have to defend this briefcase? Going after Moxley.
yeah.
That it's setting up an almost alliance situation where you've got NJPW, TNA, or Impact, and AEW kind of going the three of them together, plus AAA already has the time with AEW, but then you have basically a 4-company alliance, an NWA alliance, if you would, as they're already featuring NWA wrestlers on AEW as it is.
So did they figure out the only way to beat the mega superpower is for all the smaller powers to join forces? It's like in Power Rangers when they all turn into the big fucking robot to defeat the fucking.
My thought process is if you think of WWE as the Thanos, that they're forming an Avengers of wrestling, basically.
That's the same thing that I just said.
Yeah, pretty much the same thing.
Wait, what?
Your analogy wasn't as good.
But the thing is, Thanos could just snap away some of these wrestling companies,
which Vince could actually do. But the one thing you got to look at is with that scenario of all those companies working together, this has happened before. When Vince started snatching up the territories, the AWA and the NWA got together and they formed their own. And then all of a sudden, inner promotion started happening, and they would go against each other, trying to take the talent from the other show to their territory and stiff the other one. So egos, and everyone knows in pro wrestling how big egos are. I don't know if that's going to work. I think keeping it small, like an AEW Impact would work, AEW ROH and stuff like that. When you start bringing in those kind of egos and those kind of big companies, I think that might ruin it. So I hope, honestly, that doesn't happen.
the thought process is
Hold on, Bill.
Okay, go ahead.
So, not if you're doing a show on loan. Like, if you're just loaning top names, like if you're going to do like, okay, we'll give you Miro and we'll give you Archer to New Japan, and you bring in Naito and Okada, you kind of do a trade-off. So you're giving star power and people that will flourish over in New Japan, but you're also getting some people that, holy shit, you're generating a lot more buzz. Like, if you're going to do like a wrestling by committee and kind of do like, look, we're not going to join forces, but we're going to openly work together to make each one of our products better. Like, it's not so much that they all join each other, but they're in a working relationship to where they're like, okay, so you got to give us equal value for what we're giving you at this point in time. Like, say Zack Sabre Jr. comes over, and you got to give up, like, I don't know, if you're in TNA or Impact or something like that, you give up, maybe the Good Brothers go to New Japan and do a little Japan run again. But you got to give up. It's just, I don't know if they'll all join forces, because one, New Japan is held all the way in Japan, so it's going to be kind of hard to get back and forth to over here. I mean, that's going to be damn near impossible to do on a weekly basis or even a monthly basis, especially nowadays. when travel is restricted.
True.
So,
Yeah.
so we're being told we have 5 minutes till
5 minutes till Impact.
Yes, that's perfect.
Yeah. So to end the show, I kind of wanted to work one more thing in, and that's NXT. How they answer. We heard on a conference call that Hunter did for Wargames that they are open for business as long as it makes sense for the WWE.
So as long as they can absorb the company and take what they want,
just pick and just leave the bones.
It's just basically what it is. As long as we can pick at your carcass and then leave the rest for the buzzards, then that's all we need. I mean, honestly, like, who are they going to work with? Who's going to? I mean, people would be chomping at the bit to work with them. Go ahead.
MLW. I think MLW. You got Granted, I don't know if he has a exact contract with them still, but you got Brian Pillman, a part of the family.
Pillman's already at AEW, dude.
It doesn't matter if MLW starts going over, and you have NXT doing MLW, and you have the Von Erichs down there who can come up and help. It's WWE. It's the Von Erichs. It's the bloodline to come in. You could do so many things. Fatu, who's there? There's so many things you could bring in from MLW that would really help NXT, but it wouldn't be this big deal as far as trying to get them or trying to hold on to them. MLW would be a solid pickup and to help out NXT. And not only that, NXT loaning some guys down there as well to help with developing those for certain shows for MLW. I think that would be the perfect fit for NXT.
It's what they did with Evolve, and they just absorbed them.
Yeah, but Evolve was going through tough times anyway at that point. So, I mean, but what wrestling company at this point, aside from the big ones, is it?
That's true. I mean, I don't hate the idea. I mean, I like it. It all makes sense. Like, yeah, I would love to see the Von Erichs on WWE TV. I think that would be great. And you said Fatu. Yeah, like that. How perfect would that be in the bloodline, quote unquote, storyline?
Exactly.
Like, I want to see all of them in there. I want to see the whole fucking bloodline. I want to see Tama Tonga. And I want to see them all get somehow intermixed into this fucking bloodline, because you can't be the head of the table if you can't take on everybody. I mean, we all know The Rock is the final boss in this video game.
He's the real head of the table. Let's be honest. It's not Roman. It's Rock.
Yeah, I mean, he is.
Yeah,
but it wasn't. I saw that comment and it was interesting, but my mind immediately went to like, okay, like if it makes sense for them, like, okay, you're already the biggest company. Like, how is it going to make sense for you? If you want to pick the talent away from the company and take them and then leave them with the scraps, like, yeah, that's what makes sense for them.
Yeah.
Like they don't put people over. They're not going to put another company over. Like AEW is doing with NWA right now and Impact right now. Like, they're putting them, like, you're getting the rub. You're getting the Kenny Omega rub tonight. You're getting the AEW champion. And same thing with NWA. Your NWA women's champion was getting featured on a main pay-per-view for that company, putting that title on the line. I mean, it's
all right. So I hate to cut you off, but we're in a minute right now, under a minute. So we want to wrap up the show. We want to thank you for listening and watching, and we hope you enjoy TNA Impact. This is going to be huge. As long as I hope they start the show off, honestly. I hope they don't hold off. So enjoy Impact, and we'll be talking to you next week, and we hope you enjoyed the show.
Later.